Hi, I'm Gerald, and today we're going to demonstrate how to install Linux Mint as a virtual machine using VirtualBox software. Linux Mint is going to be the third workstation that we install for this project. We can see Linux Mint here on our network map, and it will be assigned a static IP address of 192.168.200.12. The first step of the installation process is to set up a new virtual machine. And to do that, we just click on New for New Virtual Machine on our VirtualBox Manager. It asks us to name the virtual machine, and we can name this one Linux Mint. And the type is Linux, and version, for the version that we've downloaded, it's Ubuntu 64-bit. So we'll leave it at that and click Next. It's asking for our memory size for the virtual machine, and recommended memory size is 1 GB, so we can leave it at that and click Next. The hard disk, we want to create a virtual hard disk now, so we just click Create. The hard disk file type, we can leave it at VirtualBox disk image, VDI file, and click Next. Now it wants us to decide if we want a dynamically allocated disk or fixed size. We can leave it at dynamically allocated and click Next. It wants us to select a file location and size. We can leave it at Linux Mint, and for our file size we can actually bump this up to 16 gigabytes and click Create. Next, we need to adjust the settings, so we can make sure Linux Mint is selected and click on Settings, and then click Network. Adapter 1, make sure it's enabled, and select Internal Network, and select pfSense, which is our internal network for our LAN. You can also go over here to Storage, select our optical drive, and select our file. And we previously downloaded the ISO file for Linux Mint, so we can just find the file and click Open. And now we can just click OK. Next thing we need to do is just start the virtual machine. Now that our desktop software has loaded up, we can just click on Install Linux Mint to install the operating system. Okay, now it wants us to select a language, so we'll make sure English is selected and click Continue. Now it wants us to decide if we want to install third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi hardware, Flash, MP3, and other media. We can either check this or uncheck it. I'm going to leave it unchecked since this is a virtual machine, and just click Continue. It's telling us the computer currently has no detected operating systems. What would you like to do? And we want to erase disk and install Linux Mint. We can also select encrypt the new Linux Mint installation and use LVM. We want to. For this installation, I'll just leave those unchecked and click Install Now. And we just need to verify this information is correct and click Continue to write it to disk. Now it wants us to select a time zone, so it looks like New York is pre-selected, so we can just click Continue. Okay, now it wants us to select a keyboard layout, and we need to select English US for both of these and click continue. Okay, now it's wanting information for our first user account, so I can just type in my information here. Now it wants a computer name, so we can just type in Linux Mint. And for a username, type in my information here, and now we can choose a password. Also, it asks if we want to log in automatically or require a password to log in. It's recommended that you require a password to log in for security reasons, but since this is a lab virtual machine, I'll just select login automatically and click continue. And now it's installing operating system files for Linux Mint. Now it's telling us that the installation has finished and we need to restart, so we can just click on restart here. Okay, now it looks like Linux Mint has loaded up. First thing we need to do is set our static IP address. And to do that, we go to Menu, select Preferences, and then select Network right here. And right here, we can just select our network settings that we want to change, and we can click on this little icon here, and we can go over here and click on IP version 4 to adjust these settings. Right here where it says addresses, we can click the drop down box and just change it to manual, and just type in our information for our static IP address. And the static IP address is 192.168.200.12. Our net mask is a 24-bit net mask, so we can either type in 24 or we can type in 255.255.255.0, and you just go down to gateway, which is our default gateway of 192.168.200.1, and down here we can type in our DNS server, and then click apply. Okay, looks like we still have our DHCP assigned address, so we can just turn the network off and then back on, and it looks like we have our static IP address loaded up properly. So now we can just go and test our network connectivity. So we can just click on our terminal icon here and use the ping utility to test our default gateway connection. And it looks like it's working properly. We can also use ping to test our internet connection, and it looks like it's working properly. And we can use our web browser VirtualBox to verify that we do have a active internet connection. And we just go up here to the address bar and type in Google's website. And press enter, and Google loads up properly. So this will complete the installation and setup of Linux Mint as a virtual machine in VirtualBox.